Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rock and Roll Spot Connection, and today we're going to be going over what were my favorite and least favorite comic book stories of this past year. This will begin for my first of the favorite of 2018 lists. Anyways, I initially was going to try and pare down the favorites into 10, but I got a little carried away, and yeah. Anyway, so in no particular order. First off, we got Cosmic Ghost Rider, which was just probably one of those insane comics I've read in a while, and in the best ways. Cosmic Ghost Rider follows the character, well, the breakout character from Danny Cates' Thanos run, who is, well, Frank Castle, having become the spirit of vengeance after dying. Then, after when Galactus comes to consume Earth, he becomes the Herald of Galactus. And then, when Thanos kills Galactus, he becomes Thanos' right hand. So yeah. Anyways, in the course of the story, he dies, and so in the miniseries, the Cosmic Ghost Rider miniseries, he's in Valhalla. But it's not really his style, so turns out that Odin has pulled some strings, and well, he gets to go back out into space and time. And so he decides he's going to do the one thing that no other time traveler has ever thought to do, apparently, probably. Kill Thanos before he can be a problem. Shenanigans ensue. Anyway, next on the list is Marvel Knights 20th Anniversary, which is one of the few on this list that is not, which hasn't actually can't come to its conclusion yet. This is a book that honestly could have made for an amazing, like, event comic, like, the big summer event. But it's really, but doing it like this, it's just, and it's so great with everyone forgetting who they are, the world forgetting who the heroes are. It's just, or that they even existed. Yeah, it's it's something, all right. Next up, we've got Hunt for Wolverine Adamantium Agenda. The Hunt for Wolverine miniseries was a bit of a mixed bag. My favorite of the bunch, though, was definitely Adamantium Agenda, and that was, of the four, the one that I actually looked forward to new issues of. So, Adamantium Agenda tells two stories. One is set at some point around Civil War, and I think in the aftermath. And Wolverine responded to a bioweapon being found and going off, and he made Tony Stark make him a promise, and now Tony is living up to that promise. There were other Avengers involved in the events that day, though. Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones, and so they also get brought along for the ride. And the X-23 joins in for the fun as well. It made for a really interesting story, and had Mr. Sinister fighting a handful of Avengers, which was a bit different from normal for him. Anyways, next up we've got West Coast Avengers. I don't really know the name of a specific story name, but it's the first 4 issues, and it's based. Kate Bishop Hawkeye has started up a PI firm in Southern California. Of course, she's also having to do. She got involved in doing some superheroing while out there as well, and so she decides to recruit others to help. And then B-movie monsters start attacking, and so yeah, she gets, and she puts in probably the craziest team of Avengers ever that I can think of, and they managed to save the day, and even admittedly while fighting MODOK, but still, day is saved. And it was a fun story, which is always a nice change from super serious stuff to, the occasional fun title is kind of needed. Anyways, next up we've got going the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Punisher: World War Frank. This was the first arc of the relaunched Punisher series, and it's in the aftermath of Punisher having run around for a while wearing the War Machine armor. And it definitely kicked off the title with a bang by killing the Mandarin, the longtime Iron Man foe. Not only did Punisher kill him, but he killed him in front of the UN Security Council. That was, yeah. Anyways, next on the list we got Old Man Hawkeye. Now, I debated on this for a while because the book started in 2017, but be that as it may, the majority of the issues did come out over the course of 2018, so it counts as one of the best of 2018. It serves as something of a prequel to the Old Man Logan story. It's set 5 years beforehand, and it kind of goes over Hawkeye losing more and more of his eyesight as the story progresses, until at the end he is blind. There are nods to the things that came to pass in Old Man Logan. We also get more backstory on the day that the heroes were killed, and see what happened to the Avengers. And basically, the Thunderbolts killed them, and so now, Hawkeye was left Hawkeye saw them do it and then was left alive because, how is the guy with the bow and arrow the threat if we've already killed the guy in the high tech suit of armor? So yeah, but it was just I'm not. I hope that Old Man Quill ends up being at least halfway decent. We'll see. Starting next month, I guess. Anyway, after Old Man Hawkeye, we've got Old Man Laura, which was the last arc in All New Wolverine. It's set, years in the future. It's a different future timeline than Old Man Logan and Old Man Hawkeye, but Laura Kinney is now the Queen of Madripoor. Peace has been brought to the world except for one small corner, Latveria. And so Laura and her various allies, including Captain Marvel, Honey Badger, Maria Hill, President Kamala Khan, so on and so forth, go to take care of the fact that, or go to see just what has become of Latveria after the superhero war there, years and years previous. It makes for an interesting tale, and honestly, that's another alternate universe I would not mind seeing expanded upon in prequel format, such as in the same manner Old Man Hawkeye, kind of told more of what happened, what came to pass before Old Man Logan. Next up, we got Deadpool Assassin. So, I'm a fan of Deadpool. I mean, not to the point of some are, but I am a fan of the character. That said, Deadpool Assassin was also it was fun. It was a fun read, and it harkened back to the early Deadpool books way back in the '90s, and even complete with the artwork and the supporting cast. Plus, it was great seeing Weasel, even if he did sadly get killed off. And just, yeah, it was such a good such a good book, and I had so much fun with it. And I also loved seeing Mark Bagley drawing Deadpool. Anyways, moving on to all of the Infinity Warps. Now, during Infinity Wars, there was the last few months, about the last half of Infinity Wars being out, we had all of the Infinity Warps, which were, it was basically a Marvel-only version of Amalgam from Marvel vs. DC back in the '90s. The idea being you take two heroes, mash them together, and there you go. For example, the examples of the miniseries you had Arachnite, Ghost Panther, Iron Hammer, Soldier Supreme, Weapon Hex, and they all, by and large, the warped characters actually worked. So, and I love the fact, one of the things I actually really enjoyed about Infinity Wars is the fact that that's now a separate parallel universe is the one with all the warps on it. Anyways, moving on, we got from Despicable Deadpool, Bucket List, and the Marvel Universe Kills Deadpool. So this is the two stories that closed out Despicable Deadpool. Bucket List had Wade just going nuts, and taking care of things that needed taken care of before he died. And then Marvel Universe Kills Deadpool had everybody going after Deadpool, as after the events of Secret Empire, he was a wanted man, mainly for having killed Coulson. Next up, we've got Old Man Logan, Moving Targets. So Moving Targets had Old Man Logan fighting Bullseye, and throughout New York at the behest of Kingpin. It was made for a really great story, and plus it was fun watching Bullseye going after him. So anyways, moving on, the Shatterstar miniseries, which is another one that has not concluded as of yet, but with the majority of the issues that came out last year, someone accounted for last year. And Shatterstar is a favorite of mine from X-Force. A large part of it is I think that his double-bladed sword looks really cool. And so in this, we find out that Shatterstar has started up a tenement house for dimensionally displaced people, or for dimensionally displaced beings. And so some mercenaries from the Mojoverse come along, however, one night, and they kidnap his tenants. And so he tracks them down and goes to bring them back, though it turns out that the mercenaries are no longer working for Mojo, but rather for Grandmaster. And to be perfectly honest, Grandmaster and Mojo are two whom I would love to see interact, and I think that would actually make for a really great Avengers versus X-Men story. Because those two, kind of Mojo sets up the X-Men as his champions, and the Grandmaster chooses the Avengers for his. And yeah. Anyways, moving on, we've got Domino Killer Instincts. Killer Instinct. This was the first arc of the Gail Simone penned Domino ongoing. Which was really a really interesting look into Domino's past. It also brought up an interesting concept that whereas Domino was lucky, anytime something, there was basically a flip side of the coin for her, and anytime something good happened to her, something bad happened to this guy. And this would continue after she became a mercenary. In the end, well, it's kind of a case of the world's only big enough for one of them. So, what was also really fun about this story was going into Domino's posse, as it were, which is Diamondback and Outlaw. It's interesting. The group dynamic with the three of them is quite cool. I'm looking forward to the follow-up that's coming up with basically, I think, a lot of the other female mercenary types. Anyways, moving on. We got Avengers number 7. This is from the current run on things. Why just this issue? Because this issue, as well as the next upcoming issue, focused on telling the origin of members of Odin's Avengers team from 1 million BC. Issue 7 focusing on telling the origin of Ghost Rider. The next one, which has a good chance of ending up on next year's favorites list, tells the story of excuse me, Iron Fist, the first Iron Fist. Next up is the Multiple Man miniseries. I mentioned the fact that I'm a fan of Shatterstar. I'm also a fan of Multiple Man. Multiple Man is an interesting character to me because he's the X-Men class clown, except that he can take his jokes to such an insane level because of his duplication powers. And the story that was written here, just with him. Oh, it was just an insane time travel caper, and yeah. Anyways, moving on. We had the Mark Memphis run on Moon Knight, which again started in 2017, but the majority of it came out over the course of this past year. So over this, we get a new enemy for Moon Knight in the form of Ra. And of course, it delves further into the Egyptian mythology behind Moon Knight. We also discover that Moon Knight has a daughter, and that Jake, one of his personalities, is the only one that has compartmentalized everything about the daughter so that none of the others know about her until now. But we also get some additional background material on Mark. It turns out that he met a Nazi in hiding when he was a youngster, and said Nazi in hiding began to make plans around for Mark after he grew up. And that about covers it, I would say, for the favorites. Now, least favorites. We don't have nearly as many. Most of the comics I wrote over the course of this year just were either, for by and large, are good but not great. Ones list that I just went through are the ones that I really, really enjoyed. So, on to the least favorites. Return of Wolverine. So, first and foremost, I'm going to mention this. I'm a Wolverine fan. But I really don't like the direction they seem to be going in with Return of Wolverine. First, this whole hot claws crap is, well, crap. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, it feels, so much of it just feels contrived. Like someone, the editor, like someone at Marvel said, hey, so we're getting so Marvel Studios is getting the rights back to the film rights back to the X-Men with the Fox buyout. So yeah, I think it's time we should bring normal Wolverine back. But yeah. Next up, we have Hunt for Wolverine: Claws of a Killer. So Claws of a Killer followed Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, and Daken as they investigated a small town in Arizona. And they fought illusions from their past and zombies, and on the plus side, Daken got killed off, seemingly. For now, at least, we'll put it that way. Next up, we have X-Men Gold Till Death Do Us Part. So, for the most part, honestly, Till Death Do Us Part was a pretty solid story. Up until the wedding itself, when Kitty Pryde, whose idea this wedding was. This is you know what? No, let's not get married after all. You know, after I've already set this whole elaborate thing up, and we've had bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, we got, the whole shebang, and now I'm just say, you know what? No. It was just, ugh. I can accept the Batman Catwoman wedding not happening. I can accept that. Because there were outside forces to blame. This is such contrived bullshit. They just said, yeah, hey, so yeah, that couple you guys have been rooting for nearly 40 years. Hey, yeah, they're gonna get married. Yeah, just watch. Oh, nope, psych, fooled you. Next up, issue 29 and 30 of X-Men Blue. I know it's spun out of the whole Venomized story, but I just thought it was a really dumb way to get Jimmy Howlett out of away from the X-Men Blue team, so that kind of we'll basically have him killed be taken over by the symbiote instead of actually killing him, like they did like they ended up doing in Bloodstorm. Next up, Astonishing X-Men: A Man Called X. So, A Man Called X spun right out of the first arc of this Astonishing X-Men run, and had the team facing off against the Shadow King, and so Psylocke fought the Shadow King with some help from Phantomex. So it turns out that Shadow King had Xavier's psyche and had been torturing him since he died. Well, Xavier's mind gets in touch with Phantom and says, "Hey, I need a body so I can fight him." And and so Phantom's like, "Yeah, hey, take mine. I've done horrible things. Our psyches will swap places." So that happens. It just, and then afterwards, oh, hey, he's also been torturing Proteus. Now Proteus is loose. The problem is, I just find it really hard to believe that it's actually Xavier. It just doesn't click for me. And then next up, the next two are Marvel's two weekly stories that they put out over the course of the last year: Avengers No Surrender and X-Men Disassembled. Now the problem I have with both of these is that they just feel like they're being dragged out. Like, it's like, well, we want to get this monthly story out, but we want to tell a story. We got 4 months to tell a story, but we want to do it this huge story. And yeah, don't get me wrong, details all well and good, but there's a lot of stuff where you really didn't, you didn't need to dedicate entire issues to stuff. But yeah, and what's interesting is the fact that each one signals the end of an era for one book, and the other signals the beginning of an era for a book. Now, a couple of disappointments that I had over the year when it came to comics. First off, Old Man Logan. Well, the end of Old Man Logan. Okay, so they capped off the Old Man Logan series at number 50. Cool. Except that they just said, no, we're just ending this and we're going to continue. It's a Dead Man Logan. Which is... like, seriously, it didn't need to be... You didn't need to end the series and start and just like, okay, now you're doing a maxi series. No. You just kept on doing Old Man Logan for another 12 issues and said, okay, that's that. We're done. But no. And the other one is actually just a disappointment, not because of the story, but external issues. Terminator Sector War. So Terminator Sector War got me started keeping an eye on Dark Horse books again. And it's an interesting story. It takes place in New York City on the same night as the first Terminator movie. The mother of another Resistance bigwig is being targeted by a Terminator. Well, she happens to be a cop, and she just found it. And over the course of the story, she finds out, oh, she's pregnant. So, and the Terminator is coming after her. But what the disappointment factor is for me is the fact that only 2 issues have come out so far. And that was, the last issue we got was months ago. So yeah, that... Anyway, that's it for now. Got a few other stuff. Got some other videos will be coming up, and I'm gonna try to get my at least my top 10 movie list out for later on, and maybe not this week, but yeah, we'll get it out we'll get it out as soon as possible. Anyway, as always, feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment if you feel so inclined. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I put up new content. Links to my social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon are in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.